Well, let me plug in some headphones.
Yeah. I'm actually pressing.
Might take me like 15 minutes to untangle them because that's how it goes. Where are you guys out of? California?
San Diego, yeah.
San Diego, cool. 1 second. You still hear me?
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, much better. All right. Can I see the room? Can we do like a computer spin around?
Well, yeah, kicked out, unfortunately.
So the teacher that we originally had hosting this, he had like his test was going on for a bit too long, so we got kicked out of the room because he still had students in there testing. So we're forced inside this library study room. So there aren't that many people. It's like 4.
That's okay.
Actually 5. But
we live stream it.
It's the thought that counts, you know?
There you go.
So okay, let's just.
Yeah, how does this go down?
So usually the way we start off these kinds of things is we just ask like your educational background or what did you do in like high school or college if you went there, things like that.
Sure. So I went to high school in New York City, a place called Dalton, and I went off to, regular high school. Didn't have a specific focus or study, kind of standard American private school. And then I went off to Haverford College, which is a tiny little liberal arts school in Pennsylvania, where I studied psychology and economics. I mean, to be totally honest, I'm not exactly sure that like much of my education is very related to what I'm doing. I'm a big proponent of you learn a lot more out in the world doing than you really do in school. I absolutely think there's value and social value in going to college. I probably don't think college is for everybody. It's like if you're thinking about what is the way to maximize my education, that may be college and it may be going out and doing. But I went on from there into, I was like, I don't know what I want to do. I studied psychology and a little bit of economics. Okay, college is done. I'm supposed to be a real person now. Let's see how that works. I guess I'll do marketing. And then so I got my first job I played soccer at Haverford, and a Haverford soccer alum kind of hooked me up with a marketing job. And it was social media had just first like really become a thing. And they were like, yeah, you're young, go figure out social media. And I was like, okay, I can do that. And it was for a company that was having a lot of trouble making sales. And all of a sudden I was able to sell some of their product on social media. And they were like, whoa, okay, what is this thing? How does it work? What's going on? And I really lucked out in that regard that like just as this new totally world-changing technology was becoming more prominent, it was a technology that only really young people had been playing with and understanding. And the older people in the workforce had no idea how it worked. And so I could quickly kind of become an expert in that field. And so I went on to do social strategy for Budweiser. We got their average likes per post and engagements up like about some crazy number, like from 1,000 per post to 35,000, and everybody's clapping. But one thing that I really found about the marketing world that was confusing to me coming into it fresh, and this is another thing to you guys as you start jobs and start school and start figuring out what you want to do, is that like in some ways the naivety and not knowing what's going on hurts. And in some ways it really helps. And to me, it was so confusing that everybody would be celebrating that like more people saw this Budweiser post when I had no idea if that did anything to sell more of their product, which is the idea. And that was like just extremely confusing to me. But so many people in the marketing industry are just like, nope, like that, good. That's what the goal is. Line going up on the graph. This is awesome. And I like just sort of didn't get it. And I told that to this guy, Gary Vaynerchuk, who's a sort of social media and wine guru of sorts. And told him, I was like, I don't get how. I pretty much told him that same story. And he hired me on the spot and was like, let me mentor you. And I highly recommend finding mentors and people you can look up to and who can teach you things about industries you're interested in. He definitely, I learned more from him about the marketing industry and the world than just about anybody else in the workforce. Mentor, and it's the world runs on people. So the more sort of mentors and friends you can make in this industry and in this world, it all comes full circle, and it's really worthwhile. but I eventually, like I got sort of tired of selling beer and soap. That's like what I was doing. I think it's really easy to come out into
Good afternoon.
Sorry about that.
Wellness
Yeah,
Please call
that's an announcement.
oh, take your time.
Please call 6306. Thank you.
Back in school.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was, it's also, I think, very easy to come out of school and be like, okay, like I need a job. What am I going to do? Like you're sort of in survival mode of like, okay, what do I want? Like, what is this? Yes. Okay. I'm doing this. How can I be better at it? How can I get a raise? How can I get a promotion? How can I be a success? But after some time in that, you start to sort of think like, okay, like why do I care about this? And like it sort of dawned on me of, all right, like I'm getting very good at this industry thing, and social media is big and on the rise, but like why am I selling beer and soap? Like why does that matter? Is there something more valuable I could be doing with my time? And it was actually around that time that I went on this sort of New Year's trip to Panama. I met this girl at a concert. She invited me to Panama. I went, and all of a sudden I was surrounded by 35 of the most inspiring like social entrepreneurs I had ever met. They all had their own businesses and were so driven and just wanting to like change the world, and here's how they were going to do it. And I was just awestruck, and I was like, all right, this is what I want. So, I knew social media. I was like, I'll do a social media startup. And I still like, to be honest, I still like that social media.
Oh,
I was getting into that world and wanting to be a part of it. And it was after doing that for a little while that I heard a poet came and performed in my friend's living room. I really liked it. The words stuck with me. And on the way home, I started scribbling about why I liked it. And the first two lines rhymed. And so I was like, all right, screw it. I can do this. I finished that poem. I read it for him the next day. I ran into him again. And I said, like, do you want to hear this thing I wrote after your poem? And he was like, yeah, sure. And I read it for him. He was like, you should really pursue this. And then ever since, I kind of was then taking my skills from social and digital media, trying to figure out how I could put my storytelling and combine those two things. And that started out because I would perform. I would sort of like tell these poems, say these spoken word pieces. People would say, wow, can you send me that? And I didn't want to look at myself for like 3 minutes in front of a camera. And I like didn't know how to really make that work digitally. And so I started making these videos. And like how that turns into money is an interesting question. I still am doing some like consulting on the side. But there is also, there's some brands that are like, hey, like we love your style. Can you help us tell our story in this sort of style? And I'm comfortable enough with my sort of other clients and with my previous work that I have the sort of leeway and runway to like, only really do that for companies that I believe in and want to work with. And then I can, have other income that works from doing social media consulting that doesn't take up too much time. But I lucked out, to be totally honest, with the timing in terms of social media. It's like I think one thing I guess I can't call myself your generation, but my generation, and I assume yours, really struggles with is patience. Is because building a career in just about anything really takes time, and you guys can, and we can, have food delivered at our door in 3 seconds and get anything we want just about immediately. But that's not the way that you can build a meaningful life and career. And so I lucked out in that, like, when I got into the workforce, pretty much everyone was starting at square zero for social media. So it was like a totally new playing field, and it was easy to rise quickly in that field. But most of the time, it takes time and work to build that up. And I'm extremely fortunate that I got in at the time I did, and thus I'm able to do sort of part-time work to pay the bills. That was a long answer to one question, huh?
Yeah.
So this is like kind of off topic. You said you played soccer at your university?
Yes.
What position did you play?
I played outside mid.
Okay.
Are you guys soccer players?
Yeah, I'm a soccer
Yes.
player. I play striker and sort of offensive mid also.
When I played club in high school, I believe San Diego Surf
Yeah.
was a strong club. Do you guys play for them?
I played for a different club, Arsenal.
Gotcha. Cool. But yeah, it's sunny all year round over there. You guys have that advantage. I was playing on glass in the cold.
I have another question.
Yep.
So your incorporation of social media taught you like marketing skills. So like in general, like what do you do with social media, like in general, when you market to any audience?
So sure. So like there are a couple of different branches of it. There's like the creating content side, like creating what the post should be, and then there's the like targeting and how do you get it in front of people side. And I was more on the like the strategy. Here's how we should use these sort of platforms side of things, and here's the content, the type of things we should create. But so and for that side, you're essentially thinking like, all right, how can we add value to this audience? If I'm Budweiser, it's like, what can I actually say on social media that that people will care about or want to see from us? It's like, how do we break through and not be just like, a brand that's trying to act cool or just like, just advertise. In the social media world, like you don't want to see ads, right? Like you sort of want to scroll past that. But if, Budweiser has these Clydesdale horses and cute little puppies and can create like really compelling content with that, you start to see, oh, okay, this is something that people who like us might actually want to see. And so it's about like, how do we get that message and get stuff that is on brand with our story out to an audience? That's one side of things. Another side is there are incredible marketing tools in like Facebook's platform, in Twitter's platform, in Google's platforms, where you can say, okay, you guys are in the San Diego area, you're this age, you're interested in these things, you're similar to these sort of email addresses that we have from our own customer base. All right, we can get a message in front of you. And so like there are some people who really excel in that sort of targeting. Hey, new friends.
Yeah, we got new people.
We got lots more people.
Cool.
I want to find you guys. You weren't in like the two places we
Yeah,
usually
we
are.
got kicked out.
So it's that's the kind of thing that it would be done. And honestly, like by the time you guys go into the workforce, and actually, I mean, you could start doing some of it now. I would imagine that the focus would be more Snapchat, more the paid Facebook route, and then also Instagram influencers is something that works right now, which is pretty much like I mean, do you guys follow any of like the social media celebrities?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I do.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think
Like who?
like on Instagram,
Sure.
like a lot of like famous Viners that used to be like on Vine until that like imploded on itself. So like
Sure.
King Bach, like I don't know, like Timothy DeLaGhetto, all those people.
So and like you're aware of that sometimes they're posting advertisements, yeah?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So they make a lot of money for doing that. Especially in this sort of new budding industry, the idea is like it's all about attention, right? They own the attention. People are watching them right now. So if they post, a Vine with whatever product or whatever, and fashion is a really big industry for the influencers. If like King Batch is wearing like some hot new sneakers from some new brand, that's being exposed to a whole lot of people, and it's like, oh, it's a big opportunity to buy those sneakers. And so like, and to be honest, I think like I'm trying to remember if I signed a confidentiality agreement about this or not. I don't know. Someone like at King Batch's level, like can make like $40,000 per like series of posts. Like really, there's a lot of money there. But yeah, actually, I almost want to pick your guys' brains on social media because I'm now an old fart who's out of it. But I assume Snapchat is the most common thing you guys are using.
Yeah, Snapchat's very, very common. It's
And so what do you do on Snapchat?
Well, I mean, follow celebrities that you kind of like are interested. Like everyone is followed to or was at some point followed to DJ Khaled with all his like shenanigans with that. So I assume that was a huge marketing thing with him. Also, like I don't know, just it's a pretty good resource. Just like also just for quick communication. Also, just being able to like talk to people. So like there's the utilitarian thing with that. But also there's definitely getting to see like inside celebrities like lives.
Right, like the real versions of what's going on to them. Yeah. And like you said with DJ Khaled, it's with every new like this mentor of mine always talks about how marketers ruin everything.
Yeah.
It's like anytime that there's some sort of new thing that's happening and gaining a lot of attention, marketers will come and try to sell stuff on it. And so that's what was happening and is happening with Snapchat. Snapchat now has their own ads too, with like the ads in filters. I don't know if you noticed those, and also in like the Discover content every once in a while, like an ad will pop up in stories. One thing that I would tell you as well is like, it's just to, be very aware that people are always trying to sell you stuff, especially in these networks. Like, those you're getting, like, you guys use Facebook at all?
Well, yeah. Sometimes it's good for organization and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
And like the notifications you're getting on your phone, like from the company's perspective, like the more you come back, the more time you spend on these apps, the more ads they can serve you. And so it can be quite challenging to really preserve your kind of time and focus and sort of keep those at bay. I would sort of highly recommend turning off most of those notifications. I don't know if you do that or not.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, like with that topic, like how much is that value? Just like having, like popular social media, or like with like an example, like beats, like that being in like almost every single like music video, like ever, like for the past like 5 years. So like,
right.
Like how valued is that? Just having the imagery and everything, and
like how much does Beats pay to have their brand in those commercials? Yeah. So it really varies on, like, it'll depend on, way more for Beyonce than for, anyone. I'm not even thinking of another example, but it really depends on how many people you're reaching, the expected, like there's sort of two ways they look at it. Some are looking at it like, okay, we want to just get this out to as many people as possible who reaches the most. And social media is often a really powerful tool for that. But like big brands, like especially, like Beats, like Nike, like these organizations that have huge marketing budgets are also trying to build their brand story. They want to be a part of that video. So like some like rapper who's like cursing all the time and talking about being crappy to women, like is not a brand that like Nike will sponsor or come in and be behind. Like they want to also align, like, okay, this person stands for what we're about, so we want to be associated with them. And so some people will pay more for like that premium quality, if like this is something that we truly believe in, or like it's a luxury lifestyle. So it really varies. But like, I mean, they pay a lot.
Yeah. And so, like your perspective, like you told us like you were at the beginning of social media, like when that entire train was going on. Like how much has like that sort of it changed? Like in the beginning, I would assume it's like a lot more, experimental. Like social media is happening, so we hired people. But how is that sort of profession like professionalized? Or like gotten more like
and that's what I mean by when I got into like social media, Friendster. I wasn't on Friendster, but like when I got into professional social media right at the beginning of when that was a thing, and it was that understanding of like, okay, all these people are on these social networks. Like, how do we what do we do? How do we get their attention? How can we sell them stuff? Essentially, how can we be a part of this conversation? And initially, and this is one of the best pieces of advice I can give on social, it was like really at like the beginning of Twitter was when I was starting to get into this, and everybody's shouting, right? Like, I don't know if you guys use Twitter at all, but like everything's gone in a second. You post and it drops in 1 second. One of the most underutilized like things was search, was not just talking, but listening. I'm working for a diabetes health and coaching startup. Let me search people who are saying things that they would say if they had diabetes, or if they were looking for help with their diabetes, and can I have one-on-one conversations with those people? And so everybody's so quick to talk, oh my God, social media, I can reach all these people. It's a very undervalued tool for listening. For like, okay, who is like my exact target audience that I can go and talk to and sell something to, and how can I reach them? And so a lot of it in the very beginning was about that listening, and then building a following by listening and really engaging a lot with a lot of people. And then as soon as that stuff starts to happen, you have automation tools that are coming out, so that like you have bots that can go and like or follow everything that uses a certain hashtag, and just trying to get as many touch points and impressions. But it's a dance of how many people you can reach out with, the right people you can reach out with, and how you can build real community. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. Like with like the Twitter thing, like all the different like fast food companies that like their Twitters are definitely like piloted by like a 20-year-old or something.
Like Wendy's.
Yeah.
Wendy's. Like I understand what you're talking about. Like them trying to connect more with definitely the average Twitter user or like the average user on that social platform.
Right. And I think it's an interest, like, I don't know the answer of like, does that make people buy more Denny's? I genuinely don't know if like Denny's having a cool thing does, but it might. And like, if that industry is something you're interested in, like that, because like by nature, like your youth is an advantage in this industry. It's like people are trying to understand always how to reach young people, how to understand young people, and like if you can go into be like if you can go into a company and be like, oh hey, like your social media sucks, like you're talking like you're out of date and this isn't good, like I can come in and do better. Like those are ways you'll be able to add value to a company quickly. If you're interested in it, I actually would recommend like even that like now reaching out to some companies that you like would be like, hey, you guys have bad social media, I can do it better. It's like, let me intern for you and manage this, and build up that experience, and you'd be able to go into it. And then once you actually wanted to go into it, you would have a background in that, or you could be like, well, actually, I found out that sucks and I don't want to do it, and you'd know.
And so like with that, like ads are always evolving and everything, like changing, try to get to the new touch point, like you said. Like I don't know, like I'm 18, so like I've had like 14 years of like, I don't know, constant ads thrown at me. So,
Sure.
I feel like for the most part, a lot of the ads are like a lot of like, similar types of ads have been like evolving, but like for some reason, like car ads are always like the same thing. Like they're always just like B-roll of like a car, like either driving across or like driving in a circle. And then like or if it's like a American brand talking about how it's an American made car. So I was just wondering, like, is that like for a specific reason, or is that because like cars
Why
are
those
like
don't change? I've never worked on a car brand. I would imagine like, so a car's expensive, right? Like people who are coming into a car, it's a high barrier purchase. I would imagine that like maybe it's a similar stage of life. It's a similar style of thinking that when people are making those purchases, but I don't know. It's a good point. You haven't seen very many different car ads. I did see one did you see the Volkswagen one where there was they put all these guys, like, it was a don't text and drive ad. All these kids were in a movie theater. It's just like a car was driving. They found some way to send a text message to everybody in the theater. So everybody looks down at their phone because everybody's phone went off at once. And then the video, the car smashes into a tree.
Oh, okay.
Which was a pretty cool kind of different sort of thing. But I agree. It's like you have the same unwrapping the bow at Christmas car ad and like the same driving in that circle and deep voice talking about the horsepower. It really hasn't innovated much.
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys interested in like where are you at? You're getting your seniors.
Yeah,
You're
so we've pretty much all applied.
Pretty much, yeah.
All applied to college.
Yeah.
And we're in January, so you hear back in
May, March.
in May, March.
In college.
And then do you guys still have to like do your work, or is this the year where you just like can kind of blow things off and not really care so much and think about the future?
Yeah, we're trying to do our work.
We're trying. Try. That's.
But yeah, like what you said, the senioritis.
It just kicks in. And do you guys have ideas as to what you want to study, or figuring that out?
I'm pretty sure I kind of want to go into like engineering or computer engineering at this point.
Yeah, I wanted to do business administration.
I think about business economics or something in management.
Yeah, I'm thinking about something in management as well.
Cool. So I mean, engineering. Do you mean physical engineering or software engineering?
Computer engineering. So it's like
Computer engineering.
a fusion, like electrical and like computer science.
I mean, that's not going anywhere. I think as an industry, like that's a good thing. If you'll be well suited. It also, like, from people I know who have pursued that field, it's like you need to have really like be someone who like is comfortable sitting at a computer for 12 hours, like really just in a mathematics hole and like in a dark room. There's a lot of that in the profession, but it's incredible freedom to build whatever sort of thing you want.
Yeah.
What does business administration mean?
Oh, it's like a general thing. So they have like accounting, finance, and like sort of part of like running your own business, kind of teaching you that. But
It also kind of leads you to skills like just management in general.
yeah,
So like if you're running like a small business, or if you're even running something like that's not directly in like business, like scripts, that like having a business administration degree will help with that.
Gotcha. I mean, that's managing people is a skill that will always be helpful in helping you guys accomplish what you need. But yeah, also, I mean, just one thing I would say is you're you're gonna change your mind a million times. Like that's fine.
Yeah.
You're not gonna know. You can go through the entirety of college, have no idea what you want to do, like get into a job, still have no idea what you want to do, turn 30, have no idea what you, like, just, be open to following whatever it is that feels right and fits best and fits with the lifestyle that you're looking to live. The advice I'd give is like, do as much as possible as you can in these next 4 years, like not just study. Like when I'm looking at resumes and hiring, like I don't care about what like I went to this college, got these grades. I'm pretty much skimming over what college they went to and what grades they got. I want to see that they got past like a certain point, like had like a 3.0 or higher, and like did like enough in school, and that they didn't like do badly. But after that, like I'm really far more concerned with what they accomplished. Like, oh, you started your own website and built this and learned how to market it that way. Wow, that's impressive. Like you went out and from so young, we're working for this company and added value. It's like, everyone's going to be thinking, how can you add value to me? How is this person going to add value to my company? Am I going to have to train them forever? And are they going to bring my resources down? And so the more you can show that you've done on your own, it's just huge. Just like, especially for the entry level, if I'm looking at a resume and it's like, this person already did this, it had this level of like adoption or success, or they clearly learned this and they've been through that process and can do that again, it's huge. So really like study, but do.
We're out of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's pretty good.
This was a solid interview.
That's
Thank you
pretty
for your
good,
time.
actually. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Good to meet you guys.
Photo over quickly.
I don't know if we can.
I can see a screenshot of the thing.
Okay, we're gonna
It's just a
attempt a picture with you. So we're gonna get everyone in frame. We're probably just gonna take a screenshot with the computer. So.
Okay.
Is
I-
it Command Shift 3 or
Can shift 4.
4? Okay.
No, Command Shift 4
It's
is
a screen. It's a screen though.
yeah.
I have to drag it.
You have to drag the thing.
It's 3 though, right? For the entire screen.
I don't know. I don't have a Mac.
I think it's. I don't
It's 3. I just haven't used this in a while. So then let's just experiment. Oh,
Okay,
okay,
yeah,
that's
so
3. Okay.
It is Commission
It's
3.
three.
Okay, let's go.
Okay. No one say anything because after that the screen switches. No, you're fine, friend. I get it.
We're doing a 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. Well, actually, we can't say anything. It's fine. Just smile and. You're in.
All right, so.
Cool. Oh, I missed it, didn't I? All right. Thanks, guys. Good to meet you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you so much for your time.
Absolutely.
I apologize I wasn't here for
No, you're fine. I was gonna text you.
You came for like more than half.
Were you?